everybody, Elin here. Today I come to you guys with my January wrap up, and I ended up finishing 14 books, which I'm really happy about. 4 of which was audiobooks, so I still read quite many physical books. I definitely feel like I have a very good start for the year, even though I have wished to finish 2 more books that I started, but you know, you can't have it all. So yeah, I'm just gonna tell you guys what books I read and what I thought about them. So first of all, it really can't be a wrap up these days without me having read at least one Brandon Sanderson book, and I actually ended up reading several, so we're just gonna go through those first. The first Brandon Sanderson book I ended up finishing was Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the second Mistborn era. And we follow Wax and Wayne, and they live in the same world as they do in Mistborn, meaning that they can inhale different metals, and they have like different kind of powers because of that, really. And this takes place about 300 years later after the original series, and I just love these books so much. They're very different from the original trilogy, but it's still very enjoyable, very different, and I love it so much. I also read The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson, and this is actually a novella. And then we meet this girl named Shy, and she can actually sort of replicate different things. So if your camera broke, for example, then she can make one that looks exactly like it, even though it's made out of something else. But she actually gets caught trying to make a replica of this painting. Her goal was actually to steal the Emperor's scepter and try to make a replica of that, and you know, having her art displayed like in the palace, because that's like what she loves. But she actually gets hired to try to replicate the Emperor's soul, which is, you know, the name of the book. So this was really interesting. I haven't read anything like it, which is most cases of Brandon Sanderson, and I really did enjoy it. But as always, I have a little bit issues with novellas, because I feel like they're too short for me to just get hooked on it completely. So I ended up giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then I also read Legion Skin Deep, which is actually the second novella in the Legion trilogy. And this one we meet Stephen Leeds, and he actually sort of hallucinates because he has different people kind of representing different parts of him. So his hallucinations actually has their own personalities, they have their own expertise in different areas, and he sort of gets hired to solve different crimes and stuff like that. And very different from everything I read before, like I said, with Brandon Sanderson. I really did enjoy this book, and I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then of course I also read book 3 in this novella, Lies of the Beholder by Brandon Sanderson, and very unexpected, but I really enjoyed it, and I liked how it all wrapped up, and it was just really enjoyable, and I still love this character so much. And I think I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars as well. And then I also read Ensam Kvar by Rihanna Naveen, and this book I actually lent out to my mom, which is why I don't have a physical copy of it anymore. But this is a review book I got from Bookmark Vlog, and I'm really happy that I asked for it because it was so good. So we meet this 6-year-old boy named Zach, and he is actually in this school shooting. So he and his class are actually hiding in this closet together with their teacher, while the gunman is in the school, and they hear a lot of bangs, of course. And what Zach doesn't realize is the fact that one of those shots actually ended up killing his older brother. And this is sort of a book of Zach's point of view of it all, and how it's hard to keep the family together when you go through that kind of tragedy. It was really well written, even though the mom kind of annoyed me, but I mean, who knows how you would react in a similar, you know, if you had something similar happen to you. It was so good, which is obviously the reason I lent it out to my mom, because, you know, you definitely should read this book because it was so good. And then we have Windfall by Jennifer E. Smith. This is a contemporary about a girl who name I can't remember because I second names. But she actually buys this lottery ticket for her friend on his 18th birthday, and he actually ends up winning millions and millions and millions. And she doesn't want to share the money with him, so he gets all of it. And this is sort of his journey really to try to figure out what he wants to do with his life, with his money, and how people try to take advantage of you just because you're a billionaire or a millionaire. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I actually started it in like August and I just put it away several times, which I don't really know why, because I really do enjoy it. But I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Attentaten i Gallus by Eva Holmqvist. This is a review book that I got from the author. In this one we meet this girl Matilda, and she actually sort of transfers herself in her dreams to a different place, and in this place humans are actually treated as slaves, and there are this kind of bird people called Gallus, and they actually, you know, are the ones in power. And Matilda's trying to figure out why all of the humans are one by one disappearing, and how their entire house just goes missing, and also who actually sent off this bomb. Is it one of the humans or is it someone else? There's a lot of magic in the story, and I really did enjoy it, and I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I also finally finished listening to It by Stephen King. This is an audiobook I actually started back in December. If you listen to it in normal speed, it's actually like, I think 44 hours or something like that, maybe 42 or somewhere around there. I listened to it 2 times the speed, and that was like 19 and a half hours or something. I don't really know how long it was in the first place, but I really did enjoy it at first, but then it was just never ended. It would just went on and on and on and on and on, and it drove me crazy. Because it just never ended, and I feel like it could have been halved. Like the entire book, you could just half it and nobody would freaking care. It was way too long, and it was just too much like information and flashbacks and everything like that really didn't need to be there. Like, it just didn't add that much to the story that it felt like it was, you know, worth the extra pages for it. And I just meh. And I did enjoy the beginning of it and the fact that it ended. But I ended up giving this book, I think, 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then I also listened to City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is actually the 3rd or 4th time I read it. I really do love the Shadowhunter world, and I mean, I want to finish this series this year, and the Infernal Devices, which I'm working on right now. And I want to finish these books because I want to be up to par, because I really do enjoy them, but I've never gotten past book 3. So, you know, this is my unofficial goal of the year, just finish these freaking series. But I really did enjoy it, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars, just like I usually do, which I feel like I can say after having read it 3 or 4 times. So, you know, as usual. And then when I finished listening to that, of course I continued on with State of Ashes by Cassandra Clare, and I really did enjoy it too. I feel like a lot of character development in that one, and you know, the story going forward and everything like that, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars as well. And then I obviously listened to City of Glass, because why not stop there? And this one, I feel like there's a lot of action, there's a lot of Shadowhunter fights and stuff, and it's just very kick-ass, and also a lot of plot twists that you don't really expect. Well, I mean, having read it 3 times, I did know of them. I remember them quite well, actually. But the first time, you don't really expect them, and it's really good. And this one I actually gave 5 out of 5 stars, because I feel like, you know, it deserves and actually, you know, work well to reread the book. I also read The Black Prison by Brent Weeks. I actually started this one in November, I think, and well, now I finished it. It's a hunk of a book. This is over 700 pages, I think it's like 735 or something like that. And this is the first book in the Lightbringer series. I don't really know how many books there are. This one is about Gavin, and he's actually the prism, and that means that in this world he can have different kind of powers depending on what kind of colors you can see, really. And the more colors you can see, the more powerful you are, and Gavin is the prism, meaning he has the most power out of everyone. thing is that when you're a prison, you actually have, you live sort of 7 years at a time, because all of the prisons that's been before him actually survives like, you know, 7 years at a time, and then they start to, you know, die. But he's been the prison for he's been in prison for 16 years, so he thinks that he has a few years left before he might end up losing his power and then eventually die. But this one it was really good. I definitely like this type of books these days. I love the magic system and the characters, and what's definitely some plot twists. It has a few parts that was a little bit slower, but I didn't mind that much, and I do really look forward to continuing on with the series. But I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. And then I also ended up reading Jag kan inte sluta gråta by Ann Liljeroth. This is a review book that I got from Louise Bekelin förlag. And this one is about a woman who's actually got diagnosed with exhaustion. I don't really know what the English word is for it, but you know, we're gonna say exhaustion. Meaning she can't work because she's been overstressed for too long and her body's sort of just, you know, no more. It's sort of just about Josephine's, the main character, struggle to get back to a normal life and how to handle the fact that her world is pretty much turned upside down because of her getting sick and everything like that. And it was definitely a very interesting read, and I feel like this is very, I mean, it stressed me out a little bit because I could totally see this happening in my line of work because it's not that unusual there. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of an eye-opener a little bit too. You know, that you just need to try to relax in between work and just not think about it when you get home and stuff like that. And I ended up giving this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then the last book I read was actually Var är zebran by Ingela P. Arrhenius, and I got this book is a review book from Alphabeta förlag. I actually asked for it, and this is a children's book for the ages 0 to 3. And I just wanted to try this book out together with the kids at work because they're in, you know, the right age range. Let's just say that they loved it, and I ended up reading it about 30 times, and then I just kind of gave up. And then my our student that's with us at the time, she actually had to read it a few more times. So, you know, it was a very well-loved book by our kids. It was a really quick read because it's not that many pages, and they really loved it. But as an adult, I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, just because I don't really see it surviving very long, because it has these sort of felt things that you're supposed to remove, you know, to be able to find the different animals. And I feel like we're practicing and taking it careful and, you know, push it back carefully and everything like that. But, you know, being 1 to 3 years old, it might not take that long for it to break. But overall, we all really enjoyed it, and the kids love it, and might have to hide it sometime soon. So yeah, those were all of the 14 books I ended up finishing in January. I definitely hope they will go just as well in February. May not though, because I mean, obviously there's less days in February, and just that's reason enough for it not to go well enough. But yeah, I feel like it's a great start to the new year. I am working on my Goodreads goal, obviously, and I am working on my Brandon Sanderson goal, and I'm definitely working on finishing series. So I mean, I'm working on all my goals right now, and that's great because I'm also reading tomes. So yeah, but if you've read any of these books, please let me know down below what you thought about them, without spoiling of course. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the little button down below. And yeah, I hope you see each other in the next one. Bye!